Welcome. I love playing golf. I love the natural beauty of the courses. I love competing against myself and others. I love trying to get better each time. I think it's the greatest game man has ever invented. I don't always love my score though. And so I have come to the decision that I'm never going to be a scratch golfer, but instead I'm a passive golfer. And that leaves me to enjoy the game. You know, the physics of golf are fascinating. The club head touches the ball for only a few milliseconds. But in that time, the trajectory and the distance of the ball are determined. Now, your body's stance, your body's movement during the swing, the club you choose to use, all go into what happens in those few milliseconds. Now, really good golfers put a lot of money into having the best equipment, and they put a lot of time into training their bodies to move just the right way so that when they hit the ball, it goes where they aimed it. Now, I don't have a lot of money to put into golf, and I don't have a lot of time. But I do love the game, and I know my limits. And because of that, I can enjoy the game. Hello. If this is your first time to see one of our videos, I'm Stephen Mansell, the COO here at Kodiak Capital Advisors. And along with everyone else here at Kodiak, I believe that the more you know about the market and how it works, the better your decisions, the wiser your decisions will be in the market. Today, let's talk about the aggressive investor versus the defensive investor. The same rules apply to the aggressive investor as applies to the defensive investor. As far as avoiding the pitfalls of speculation and formulas based on past performance of the market. But the enterprising investor will act differently in his choices of assets to acquire and in the effort it will take to make those decisions. I want to start this discussion with an important truth. You need to decide in the beginning of your investment career which type of investor you are designed to be. Are you a defensive investor or an aggressive investor? You can't be an in-between investor. It's like being an in-between golfer, buying all the best equipment, playing the hardest courses, but never putting in the time to be trained by an expert golf teacher or learning how to read a course or training your body to make the right movements. You know, each time you strike that ball, all those things are important. If you don't do all those, you are destined to fail. An enterprising investor must have a more than common knowledge of a security's value, how they work, how they don't work, how to calculate their intrinsic value, and how that will affect their future their future price. The majority of investors do not possess these qualities and should choose to be a defensive investor. Now, the enterprising investor will have 4 activities in which to find assets that are worth his time and money to risk. They are 1, buying in low markets and selling in high markets. Benjamin Graham says that buying in low markets and selling in high markets cannot be accomplished with any consistency by anyone. The ups and downs of the market over the years have been caused by so many different stimuli that no one can predict these changes. Number 2, buying carefully chosen growth stocks. It is a matter of asking your broker for a list of the top 50 assets that have beaten the S&P 500 over some period of time, the last year, the last 5 years, and then picking some 15 or 20 of these stocks that the aggressive investor thinks will continue this track record. The problem is twofold. First, you are not the only investor looking for growth stocks, so you are in competition with enough others that the price of these 15 or 20 stocks are either getting to their upper bounds or they are over that bound and will be dropping soon. Second, just because a stock has had a good run lately doesn't mean that it will continue long enough to give the aggressive investor the rewards she is looking for. The growth curve for most companies eventually flattens out because that kind of expansion isn't sustainable over the long haul. And sometimes that's because of management doesn't have what it takes for the long haul. These are variables unknown to even those that have the knowledge and time to investigate a company. Number 3, buying bargain issues of various types. Benjamin Graham, his definition of a bargain asset is one that is selling for less than 50% of its current calculated value. The problem Graham brings out is that the assessment of an asset's value is looking into the future to determine the current discounted price. This takes much skill and time and isn't always accurate because there are variables, many variables. For example, the emotional attachments to the asset or future competition. Think of Netscape. They used to be on top of the hill until Google came along. Number 4, buying into special situations. Now, one example is the purchase of a company that is about to be bought up by a larger company. In order for both management and shareholders to agree on the purchase, there must be a higher price offered than the currently exist. Purchasing these stocks and waiting for the deal to go through can contribute profitability to a portfolio. But if the deal doesn't go through, you are stuck with an asset that is probably overpriced. So I want to encourage you to make a decision regarding what kind of investor you are, what you are going to be. Are you going to be aggressive or passive? If you should be a passive investor, but you are playing at being an aggressive one, while not having the time or the aptitude of being an aggressive investor, you are destined to fail. I may not have the time or ability to be the best golfer I want to be, but I can watch the pros who do and vicariously enjoy a great game. Now, if one were to choose a wealth manager that had the time and aptitude to make those wise decisions, then it is possible to be rewarded like an aggressive investor without working like one. If you would like to continue this conversation, give us a call at Kodiak Capital Advisors. This video has presented some general information regarding the financial. To talk with me or someone on our staff, a about your specific situation, your specific portfolio, click on the call button below and we will contact you as soon as possible. There is nothing like a conversation to clear up uncertainties. If you found this video helpful and you would like to see other informative videos, or you think others would benefit from them, then click the like and the subscribe buttons below. If you have a question or an idea for a future video, write us a note in the comments. In future videos, we will be going through some of the ways people have used to gamble in the market, and we will compare it to how the intelligent investor would decide to risk his money. I'm giving you examples to show how this financial concept of portfolio management works. But I want you to remember that every individual will have individual results in these situations. Do not think the specific outcome of these examples will be your outcome, and therefore make financial decisions based on it. But instead, we want you to recognize the general rule we are illustrating about portfolio management. Remember, choose well.